The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records.
Shopping assistance, your style, your budget. Our services include online and local shopping for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, and helping you find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195 or shoppingassistance2015@gmail.com. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget.
Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us here a special guest. His name is Dave Blake. He is a motivational speaker, a author, and he is trained in underwater rescue with the Navy divers. And we are here to speak with Dave about how to function when you feel fried. And I know so many of us are feeling that way and do not know how to function in that era of our life. So Dave is here to give us some answers. So hi, Dave. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Jade. And I'm also known as the flip-flop philosopher. So
Yes.
that has multiple meanings, but we'll get to that later.
Tell us why you call yourself that. Let us know from now.
Well, as I said, it's got multiple meanings. I love the sand, the beach, the ocean life, but also the philosophy I created is to turn what isn't working into what you desire by flip-flopping your perspective on whatever the task is. So that's why I say it has multiple meanings. I wear the flip-flops. I have the beach
where
feeling because it's more relaxed and it's something people can relate to. But again, the flip-flopping your thinking, flip-flopping your perspective makes the challenge so much easier.
Yes. Basically changing your perspective on things.
Exactly. Looking at it from a different point of view so you can see other sides of the same problem and not get so mired in the issue, but go after the fix, go after the goal in mind.
Love that. So let's get into it. When someone says they feel fried, what does that mean on a physical, emotional, or mental level?
Well, that is deeply personal to each person, but I'm very glad that you asked it in that context, splitting those three up. Because being fried usually is equated to a level of exhaustion. People don't realize that we can be exhausted in all three or one of those that leads to exhaustion or being fried in all three. And they all affect our nervous system, especially if we get depleted to a point that it gets so ingrained in it, that fried feeling. And now with the physical side, most of us can identify that easily. We see if somebody is tired. We see if they have an injury or they're depleted in most cases. So it's easier to identify that you look tired. And we can usually, as the other person, figure out how to help you. Sit down, take a nap. Can I help you with that? If you're injured, it's like a disability that we can see. If you're injured, exhausted, we can notice that so it's fresh in mind. And we can leap ahead to how do I help that person? When it's emotional or mental, it's easier to hide. And when others don't know, either because we don't want them to know or we're used to covering it up because we don't want to show a weakness. And that's what the mental and emotional side often in society leads to. For whatever reason, we can see a physical fried and go, oh, that poor person is working too hard.
Right.
But when it comes to the emotional or mental in society, we hide it ourselves from others. And there are multiple reasons for that. But once it gets into that level on any one of these three, it really becomes a nervous system issue. And your one system being down affects all of the others.
Yes.
And then your nervous system tries to recalculate. Okay, how do I push through? How do I keep going? And it pulls energy from other systems to try and keep going. And in doing so, you're just taxing the system further.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Many people try to push through the fatigue, and we're just talking about taxing the system when we are fried. But many people try to push through that fatigue that they're having. Why is this approach dangerous? And what are some healthier alternatives to that?
It's very dangerous. Again, great question, because I tend to relate people to puppies and oftentimes to a Labrador. Because a puppy will push through until it falls over. And as people, we can have a good reason to push through. You want that goal. You want to achieve it. You're right there. But if we do it too often, just like I was saying, it starts affecting all of your systems. Your
Yes.
nervous system goes down. You're not able, the same amount of sleep doesn't help you recover anymore. All of your systems start shutting down to be able to find the energy to push through. Some of the things you can do as a healthy alternative, number one, plan ahead. The more we can plan ahead in our day, our week, our month, whether it's work or personal, we can find those places to replenish ourselves, to get the right nutrition, to get the right amount of rest, and to get balance in our lives. And sometimes we have to push through because there is no other choice.
Right.
But when you take the time ahead and plan your day tomorrow, tonight, plan your workload for the next week on Friday before you get to that workload, then you can start seeing the obstacles coming at you and
Right.
decide, is that necessary? Can I put that aside? But when we get mired in that push through, everything suddenly becomes an emergency. And
True.
if it pops up, kind of like a notification on our phone, we suddenly feel like we have to answer it because we're out of focus. But if you can plan ahead, you can plan in those rest periods. You can plan in the navigation around what's coming up this week and give yourself a little of that leeway when something new pops up that does have to be tackled. And another thing is setting boundaries. It goes along with the planning ahead. Set your physical boundaries, set your emotional boundaries, and setting boundaries with other people. We often will take things from other people either to ease their pain, to make it easier on them, or we think they have the authority to usurp our time. And setting those boundaries, a great example would be somebody that maybe they're a friend, but they're somebody that zaps your energy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We all have that person in our lives. Could be a family, could be a friend, could be a coworker. If you set your boundaries and let them know, no, I don't have time for this right now, or I can get to that on Tuesday, and let them know politely that now is not good for you. It's okay to set those bounds. And if it gets too bad, it's okay to remove those people, because sometimes they get overwhelming, over pushy, and we need to set a reminder to get back to them, but pause them. in your phone for right now. Put them on sleep, put them on hold in some way, and don't let them into your everyday moments where possible. So setting those boundaries, but also on the physical side. If you know you can't work 18 hours on a project, how can you split it up? How can you chunk it down so that you're working around those things? And I mentioned saying no. Saying no to say yes to other things. Sometimes we want to say yes to a friend that invited us out. Sometimes that is just a distraction. And saying no gives you the rest time that you need so you're not as depleted. And you can fill in that say no to many things, even, and this is the hardest one, at work or in a family. Those are the two that tend to get people the most when they feel they can't say no because there may be repercussions. We don't want to hurt a feeling. We don't want to tell a boss no. But there are ways of saying no that, no, not right now. No, my plate is full, which opens you up to finishing the project you're working on. And being honest in those moments when you can. And again, I realize there are moments when a project or a family outing is happening that it's hard to say no in the moment. But if you set those boundaries for yourself, you can start seeing those things coming before you're in the middle of it.
Nice. And that's really good, because I was really gonna ask about protecting our well being and our peace, but you have already answered that part, because as I said, say no to things. Sometimes you don't really want to tell them why, but you're just saying no, and it's okay also to do that. And as I said, put them on sleep mode for some time, because you have to protect yourself and your well being and your peace. You can't be productive if it is that you're burnt out and you're fried.
Right,
Essentially.
exactly. And that could be as simple as setting a sleep mode so they're not contacting you at 10:30 at night.
Right.
And you can get back to them, because the moment that ding goes off, we think we have to answer it. And it interrupts our down patterns.
It does. It sure does. I know burnout can be tied to perfectionism, right? And
Oh,
people
yes.
pleasing. How can we learn to let go of perfectionism and give ourselves permission to rest without feeling, like we're not doing enough or something like that?
That is so hard for some people. I know I'm a people pleaser, and I've started a club. We're going to have the hats and jackets. It's one of those things, and a lot of your listeners may be empaths, and that it means that they vibe into the other energy and they just want to please that other person, whatever it happens to be. And this is where I go back to the boundaries, saying no, but in this particular case, put yourself first. Make yourself the client sometimes, because we're always putting out for other people. We're always
Yes.
showing up for other people. And
Yes.
if you take it on a client level, what would you do for that client? Would you take them to dinner to celebrate? Would you stay up late to get their project done? Turn it around once in a while. And what would you do for yourself? Would you celebrate your wins? Would you stay up late for your project? Or are you somebody that puts it off? And if you can start putting those boundaries in and making yourself important. One thing society does to us is it tells us that we need to put ourselves aside for others, and that saying me first is selfish. And in reality, me first can give you that time, the rest, the nutrition, and the balance you need to replenish enough to get the other tasks done faster, more efficiently, and more effectively.
Love that. What's one of the messages that you would share with someone listening right now who feels completely drained and doesn't even know where to start? And I also want you to talk about self care. Why is self care important?
Those are very important. Number one, it's okay to not be okay. And I
Mm,
can't say that enough. Again, society puts us in that place of, if you're taking care of yourself, or if you admit you're depleted, Somehow that's wrong, and it's not. It's okay to not be okay. And the important thing is to get through the moment in the moment. Breathe. I can't stress that enough. When you're overwhelmed, when you're having a joyous moment, both are equally taxing on your body. And that's one aspect that we don't think about enough is we focus on the negatives. We focus on the hard stuff. But when good things happen, you need to breathe through that too and
Yes.
soak it in. Celebrate those moments because that's not only going to replenish you. There is a line from Monsters Inc. that laughter is more powerful than scare or screams. And it's true in life. Laughter is more powerful than stress.
True.
We just forget to harness that. We forget to, when a good moment comes on, you think, wow, that was great. Next. And take the time in the good and the bad to breathe. The other thing of that is when we're overwhelmed, we hold our breath, and that also affects our nervous system. Think of this. If you're in a haunted house or a near car accident, the first thing most people do is they take a big breath in, and usually it's audible. In reality, try to breathe out. When something startles you, when something overwhelms you, practice, and it takes a lot of practice to get this. Breathing out actually calms the nervous system. When you breathe in suddenly, your body tenses up.
Yeah.
When you breathe out, it actually loosens your body and it tells your system you're okay. One way I can relate that is if a dog is in the car during an accident. The dog tends to survive the accident better than humans because the dogs don't know that's coming at them. They're just breathing normally. But when humans see an accident potential coming at them, they brace and they hold their breath. If there is a collision, then your body can't react. And the same is true when you're overwhelmed. When you're hit with that jolt of whatever the news is or the pressure, when you're breathing in and tensing, your body loses the ability to work through it, to walk through it. But if you can take a moment, breathe out, take a few breaths in, and do that periodically through the process, your body can start to calm down and actually absorb what's coming at you. And that oxygen fulfills your brain and nervous system so that you can handle it, so that you can think clearly. When we hold our breath, the blood vessels actually close in our systems. And when those systems are closed, you again go to fight or flight and your choices become limited. But when you can breathe, you see the whole picture in front of you and you can see, oh, I can go left and get away from this, or oh, see how to solve this problem.
Love that. Instead of, and when we anticipate things, sometimes it causes more stress on our bodies than not.
Correct, because we reel through the anticipated problem.
Yes.
It hasn't actually happened, so we build it into something larger than it actually is.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the reason gossip is so bad. By the time it gets to you, it's an enormous problem, but 5 minutes ago when the story started, it was a nothing. But
it was built. It built up. Momentum built up. Everything built up for that.
Yes.
That is funny. I want you, Dave, to tell us where is it that we can find you. If people want to find your book, if people want to get to talk to you, to book you, where can they find you?
You can go to flipflopphilosopher.com and everything you need to contact me. My media kit is there. You can get a preview of the book. You can watch some of my videos, and you can contact me all in one space.
Lovely. He made it very convenient for everybody.
That was the point. Try and make it easy on others. Yes.
Yes. Love that. Love that. Thank you so much, Dave, for even sharing with us. And I'm hoping that people will take the nuggets that you have dropped and even make their lives better by eliminating or reducing the tension in their bodies and the feeling of being fried, because it's not good for our nervous system.
No, and I encourage anybody that's listening to share how this podcast helped you. Share with me how these nuggets got you through a moment that you were overwhelmed. That not only feeds me, but it helps you to share that story with in a safe place.
Nice. Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much again, Dave, for sharing. And I want to say thank you so much to my listeners on the Unfiltered by Jade. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you.